What's going on, everyone? So we're here. It is officially game day. Game one, Lakers versus the Nuggets. I know many of you have been waiting for this video, me kind of breaking it down, giving my thoughts, my predictions, all that stuff. I'm going to jump into that today. Real quick, before I get into that, I am bringing back the watch-along, the play-by-play, hang out with me, come watch the game with me, and let's talk throughout the course of the game and then the post-game stream. So bringing that back, we're going to do that. I know a lot of you really wanted me to start doing that again, especially for the playoffs. But diving right into it. So obviously, this is it. This is Western Conference matchup. I also think it's funny that the East and the West first round is the Western Conference matchup, Western Conference Finals and Eastern Conference Finals matchup. You have the Heat versus the Celtics and then the Lakers versus the Nuggets. But diving into the Nuggets and the Lakers side of things. Now, look, I know Denver has had the Lakers number, right? So be honest, right? They've been the better team through these past 8 games. But couple factors. One, we are fresh, we are ripe, got some rest. I know a lot of people say and like to throw out, well, Denver's getting the same amount of rest. Yes, but there's a difference. Denver doesn't have a 39-year-old, year 21, who is one of, if not our best player, or at least the guy that we're going to be leaning on and relying on heavily. But beyond that, right, guys like Gabe Vincent, who did really well defending Jamal Murray in the Western Conference Finals, held him to 21 points. He put up 32 a game against us. I mean, that's a significant difference, right? So, look, Jamal was great in the NBA Finals, but he wasn't Jamal in the Lakers matchup. Now, granted, it was the Lakers matchup, so we'll see how much of an impact that Jamal we can have on him and kind of slow him down with Gabe Vincent and other people. No Cam Reddish for this game, so I don't think that that's a huge deal, but it is another long, lengthy body that we can throw on Jamal. Another big factor is the amount of bodies we have now to slow down Jamal. Jokic obviously is a problem. And I know a lot of people are really worried and concerned about like Jokic this, Jokic this, Jokic this. But in the Western Conference Finals last year, it wasn't so much Jokic as it was Jamal Murray. Jamal Murray played like he was prime Michael Jordan. If we slow Jamal down, we win that series last year. If Jamal just averaged 25 a game, we win that series last year, right? Jokic, yes, he's a problem. He's something you're going to have to deal with, but we didn't lose because Jokic did anything out of the ordinary, right? You're never going to stop Jokic. Jokic is arguably, if not the best player on the planet. You're not going to stop him, right? But Jamal Murray going off for 32 a game is why we lost that series. Well, now, again, you have Gabe Vincent, you have Spencer Dinwiddie, 2 guys that I think will be huge. So many people ask, what is the difference between this year and last year? And it's we have the bodies now to throw on Jamal Murray. We didn't have that last year. You had Dennis Schroeder, and that was it. And Dennis Schroeder got eaten like he wasn't even there, right? I mean, it was marshmallows. He was terrible on both sides of the basketball. So many people, another point, so many people talk about D'Angelo Russell, right? And they point to D'Lo and they go, D'Lo was the problem. D'Lo is this, D'Lo is that. But Dennis Schroeder was the primary defensive assignment on Jamal Murray. He also averaged nearly 6 to 8 more minutes a game, or I think it was 6 more minutes a game, than D'Angelo Russell. Started, it ended up getting D'Lo benched. Look, D'Lo was terrible. I'm not trying to take away from D'Angelo. D'Lo was bad, and we're going to touch on him more in a few moments. But D'Lo was awful. He needs to be better. I want to make that clear. But a lot of people don't just kind of give Schroeder the pass and don't even mention Schroeder played more minutes, was our primary defensive target, and averaged 7 points a game. D'Lo got when we got to the Western Conference Finals from game 1. D'Lo went from the third or fourth guy, because Austin Reeves, to the 5th guy, because Schroeder came in and he was the guy. So D'Lo went from 3rd to 4th guy to being basically demoted before the series even started. Now, again, I'm not trying to give D'Lo bailout and excuses. He needed to be better. But That's a big factor. D'Lo even talked about it and addressed that and said that it was an issue for him last year, right? Remember the big article where people were like, oh, what was going on? We covered it, right? Again, not giving D'Lo a pass. But this year, we have other guys than Dennis Schroeder, right? We have a deeper roster than last year. Yes, D'Lo, terrible. So was Dennis Schroeder. So was Lonnie Walker. So was Malik Beasley, who was essentially unplayable. We had no size Dan Jokic last year, right? We had nobody. We were running 7 guys, 8 guys deep, and only 4 guys showed up. Because Rui averaged like 15 a game in that series, so Rui was good. Right? We were playing 4-on-6, 4-on-7 that entire series. That's why we lost that series. Jamal Murray was a superstar, and Bruce Brown was massive. They don't have Bruce Brown. And I understand they have Reggie Jackson and Brown still, Christian Brown and all that stuff. They're not having the impact that Bruce Brown did. Bruce Brown not only was huge in that series on both sides of the basketball, defensively and offensively, which neither of those guys are, but he also broke D'Lo mentally, man. He was in D'Lo's mental. Right? I mean, living rent free. He completely just took D'Lo out of his game and out of his element. Right? They don't have those are all factors. So many people are like, well, what's different between this year and last year? A lot. You have a healthy LeBron James, a healthy Anthony Davis. You have a confident, historically great D'Lo right now. You have Rui Hachimura who's figured it out. You have a better offense. Our starting 5 is averaging 10 more points a game. We're at 104 and some change. Denver's at 100 or 94 and some change, right? 94.5, I believe. Right? Those are things. We have more depth now. We didn't have Gabe Vincent and Spencer Dinwiddie in previous matchups slow down Jamal Murray. Right? Now we have those guys. And I'm not saying that those guys are, that's it, lock it in, winning a chip because of those. But those are 2 guys that'll do the dirty work. That you can try to slow down and wear down Jamal Murray over the course of a season. Throw bodies at him. Cam Reddish, when he comes back eventually this series, which he should, right? It's just, again, another body to throw on Jamal Murray. You're not going to stop Jamal Murray. But as like last year, if he averages 32 a game this series, we're probably going to lose again. But if those guys can slow him down and even get him down to 27 a game, we win this series. That's the difference. More than anything, it's D'Angelo Russell, Austin Reeves, and Rui Hachimura. Those 3 guys are the biggest factors for this game. This series is going to come down to those 3. LeBron James and Anthony Davis are LeBron James and Anthony Davis. They're the best players. They're going to carry the load. They're going to show up, right? Absolutely. But Jamal Murray and Jokic have proven that collectively they can kind of offset, if not even be better at times than LeBron James and Anthony Davis. LeBron James and Anthony Davis need to be better, right? LeBron needs to be better than he was in the Western Conference, which he even talked about and addressed and said the difference between last year and this year is I was all banged up and hanging on by a thread in that Western Conference Finals, and I feel good, I feel refreshed, I feel ready this conference. He needed foot surgery in the Western Conference Finals. What's different? LeBron James. What's different? Anthony Davis was playing on one leg. There were several differences in this matchup than there were in previous matchups. The Lakers match up so much better right now than they did then, right? But again, I made an entire video about it. It's the other guys. LeBron and AD, they should be able to offset Jokic and Murray. Ideally, play better. Right? If Anthony Davis can be better than what he was in the Western Conference Finals, if he can be, Jokic is a tough matchup for him. But again, you're not going to stop Jokic. If he can just make things difficult, and then on top of that, if Anthony Davis can be productive on the offensive side, be aggressive, be consistent. My concern, though, too, is like AD getting worn down on the offensive side of things because he has his hands full with Jokic on the defensive side. Which is another reason why we need those 3 guys, D'Lo, Reeves, and Rui Hachimura. Those 3 guys need to be great. If our role guys can outplay Denver's role guys, which is easier said than done, But if our role guys, which I believe the Lakers have more depth than Denver, if our role guys show up, we win this series. This is not going to be, in my opinion, this is not going to be a superstar series. Yes, they'll get the credit. Yes, it may come into the game. LeBron hits a game winner or something, or drives to the basket and, hits a clutch shot to push it to 4 out of reach. Something like, yes, the superstars are going to be important. But over game in and game out and through the entirety of the games, it's going to be our role guys that are going to win us or lose us this series. If D'Lo is terrible, if Reeves is inconsistent, if Rui, which I don't really have as much concern about Rui as I do D'Lo and Reeves. Like, Rui's been really good in his role, really consistent in his role. I think he has a good understanding, but we need him to be good. Doesn't mean that we need all three of those guys to average 30 and, they need to give us 90 between the three of them. No, but they need to be somewhere in that 15 range each. Right? Obviously one, Rui has a 25-point game. Okay, well then D'Lo and Reeves collectively give me 40 or give me 30, right? Something like that. D'Lo has a 30-point game. Okay, well then, Rui and Reeves. But I'm talking about you look at their averages through this series, they basically need to be at 15s. If all three of them are basically 15-point-a-game guys, give or take, right? Let's say D'Lo's 17, Reeves is 13, Rui's 13. But basically, if the collection of those three is somewhere in the 40 to 50 point a game range, the Lakers probably win this series. Darvin Ham is a concern, without a doubt, right? Mike Malone is the better coach. But something that I've highlighted and talked about, and something that you saw in other playoff settings and against other and playoff environments, like, the Pelicans twice, he looked really good in those games, and it's like, wow, where's this been? The in-season tournament, things like that. It's because everything gets simplified, because everything's flowing through LeBron James and Anthony Davis. And then on top of that, D'Lo's cooking, Rui's cooking, Reeves is cooking, right? Gabe's coming off the bench cooking, right? All these guys are cooking, essentially, right? Darvin Ham doesn't really have to coach, right? He doesn't have to kind of mastermind and figure stuff out. Just kind of letting things unfold. And then at that point, you're just managing. Oh, 7-0 run, timeout. All right, let me get this timeout real quick, right? Okay. He's been playing so long. Hey, Prince, let me go get you 10 minutes. Oh, Prince just gave you 8 points. Great idea, Darvin Ham, right? Because, again, Prince just made him look good, right? It's those type of things. If the Laker players show up, Darvin Ham's going to look good. You saw it in the last season, the first and second round against the Grizzlies and the Warriors. Right? Darvin Ham was the best coach in that series, in both of those series. Why? Because everything went great. Everything went according to plan. Darvin Ham had this box. And as long as everything's in that box, Darvin Ham looks great. As soon as that box, end of that gets broken and it's open, he has no way to repair that. He has no way to move to another box. That's going to be a big thing this series. Obviously, there's going to be adjustments game to game. He can do that. You've seen him make little tweaks and stuff and do little things even in the Denver series, right? Putting Rui on Jokic, they had some success, which I'll dive into defensive schemes and stuff like that here in a moment. But to me, if he has to start grasping for straws, that's where he's going to get heavily exposed. Because that's what happened in the Denver series, right? Denver's just running through us. Nobody's showing up outside of LeBron, AD, Rui, and Reeves. And it's like, I need other guys. Okay, well, D'Lo's been unplayable. Lonnie Walker's not showing up. Dennis Schroeder's not showing up. Malik Beasley can't. I could probably outshoot Malik Beasley when he was playing for us. It's wild, right? It's just, as soon as he has to start strategizing in game, that's when it's going to be a problem. When he has to start fixing things on the fly, the ship is leaking, is taking in water, and he needs to patch that up. Well, he's not a carpenter. He can't fix that. Right? Like that's the problem. So as long as the players show up, Darvin Ham will look great. Darvin Ham will look fine, and the Lakers will look great, and the Lakers will look fine. Stick to the game plan, right? To me, let's start with the offensive side. To me, I think the offense is very simple, right? Keep it simple. Embrace the 5-out offense as they have. It's one of the reasons why the offenses work so good. But we need constant movement, constant action. Basically keep Jamal and everybody, make them all have to defend. Get Jokic into defensive actions as much as possible because we don't have the Dwight Howard. We don't have the big centers that we can kind of utilize to really slow him down. So we need to basically cardio him, right? Like, how is your endurance? Let's find out, right? Push the pace, get back in transition, but we need to get him into actions as much as possible to try to force him over a 7-game series to have to play some level of defense. If they're able to just hide him and mask him all series like they were last year, then it's not going to go well. But if he has to start moving out because it's all this constant action, you're running all these screen actions, right? And you can kind of keep this offensive flow going, which the Lakers have done a good job in spots, right? Don't get complacent to the one-on-one basketball. Keep the ball moving. Right? Whenever the Lakers have 32 assists and take care of the basketball, they win. Same thing. Lots of ball movement. Put pressure on Denver's defense, who they don't have a great elite defense. Put the pressure on the defense. Problem is, we never put pressure on their defense in previous years. The closest we came to beating Denver was the previous game in the regular season when we were up like 15 at one point, right? And how did we do that? It was constant ball movement, getting guys in actions, right? Constant screens, playing with pace, guys hitting shots, getting good looks at the rim, moving and sharing the basketball. As soon as we went flat offensively and we struggled, we went on like a 3.5-minute drought. That was it. It was over. So we have to keep that pace. We have to keep that pressure. We cannot take our foot off the gas. There is zero margin for error against Denver. Some of these other teams, yes, you can get away with a little error. Can't do that with Denver. They're going to make you pay. They always get the best shot. Why are they so good? Because they're a perfect offensive enigma, right? Like, Lakers need to be a version of that. You run through LeBron James and Anthony Davis. You be aggressive and relentless at the rim. Obviously, you need to shoot threes. You need to make threes. Because again, last year, we couldn't buy threes to save our lives. We were atrocious, right? I mean, D'Lo shot like 13% or something like that, right? If we're hitting threes, what that does is now Denver has to come out and challenge. Last year, they didn't have to do that. They just basically packed the paint and said, go ahead, right? Jared Vanderbilt's in the corner. Dennis Schroeder can't shoot. Right? Like, D'Lo shooting 13% from three. We'll live with it, right? If all of a sudden they turn it on, we'll adjust. But they never had to adjust because no one ever picked it up. Well, now, if D'Lo can be not even 42%, just be 37%, it's like a 5% drop off from what he's been for the regular season. Now they have to worry about that. They have to worry about D'Lo. If Reeves can just be league average, right? Because if they're at least average from three, Denver has to respect it and challenge it. So now that pulls everybody out. And now with all the constant movement, you're going to get all these back doors. You're going to be able to apply a bunch of rim pressure. You're going to be able to force Jokic into uncompromised positions to where he has to actually defend at the rim. You need to apply that pressure. Pressure, and be relentless with it, right? Defensively, I think the best defensive game plan is to kind of do what they did in the last game of the conference finals, but also more recently in the last Denver game, and they had a ton of success. Basically, you put Rui on Jokic, right? Anthony Davis now gets to play that free safety role. You have Aaron Gordon in the weak side corner. Aaron Gordon in the weak side corner is terrible. He's actually incredible on the strong side, right? So if he's on that side, you have to defend him, you have to guard him, which if it's successful, what will happen is Denver will probably swap that, right? They'll probably put Michael Porter Jr. on the weak side and then Anthony Davis or Aaron Gordon on the strong side. And to me, that's just simple. You just swap LeBron and Davis, right? And then now LeBron can kind of be the help, worry about him, and Anthony Davis still do the thing, right? But that can make things a little more difficult. You worry about that and you make that adjustment when it happens. Or you could you could have Anthony Davis guard Michael Porter Jr. and then LeBron just stay on Aaron Gordon, whatever. Or you just live with Aaron Gordon. If Aaron Gordon drops 30, you live with it. But to me, what it does is Rui, because he's so strong and he has such a good lower center of gravity, he doesn't get bullied the way others would against Jokic. He's able to hold his own. Obviously, it's not the best matchup, but you got to live with something. And what that does is now Anthony Davis can now cover all this ground, right? You also don't wear Anthony Davis down over the course of the series because that's a concern, like I mentioned earlier. So now Anthony Davis can come over and be the help defender and force the pass out of Jokic. And then, or if he wants to live with it, you kind of just live with it and, give Jokic those bunnies. And if it becomes a problem, then you come and help. But you also can use Anthony Davis to basically scout and spy on Jamal Murray and be the help defender again to slow down Jamal. To where you kind of just let Jokic do his thing. You kind of live with the Jokic mismatch, but you shut down basically everybody else. So Jokic could go off and get 40, but you hold Jamal Murray to like 18 and Michael Porter Jr. to like 10 and Aaron Gordon to like 6 and KCP to like 11, and you're going to win, right? That's kind of the idea. But there's also two ways that you can exploit this, right? It boils down, in my opinion, to primarily Austin Reeves and D'Angelo Russell. They're never going to be great defensively, but they have to hold their own. They have to, hold the fort down slightly, right? Be serviceable. Because Anthony Davis in the free safety role, he's going to be able to make up for your errors. But you need to at least be able to funnel Murray or KCP or whomever into Anthony Davis for Anthony Davis to come over and clean it up, right? So a big thing that a lot of people don't want, people throw out, don't double Jokic because Jokic is really good out of that double team and he kicks it out. You can defend Jokic you can double team Jokic if the other guys are cleaning up because Anthony Davis can recover so well. And this is why it depends on D'Lo or Reeves, or if you have to, you get in a Gabe Vincent, you get in a Spencer Dinwiddie, right? Because what you do is you have basically Rui on Jokic on that battle. Obviously, Jokic just turn around, shoot over him, which is fine. If Jokic starts posted up, then AD comes over and is a help defender, which forces him to kick it out. If he kicks it out to that weak side corner to Aaron Gordon, you live with that. You live with it. Now you have Rui and Anthony Davis boxing out, getting ready to grab the rebound. If Aaron Gordon lights them up, go ahead. He's like 20% in that weak side corner. You live with that. You have to give something, right? Just like Denver is going to give something. What that is, we'll find out. Right? They did it last year. They were willing to live with D'Lo and everybody else shooting threes, and they were like, "Hey, we're just gonna pack the paint and basically shut off the paint. And if they torch us from the outside, we'll figure it out." And the Lakers were never able to. Right? So you got to live with something. I will take the 20% or 20. I think it's like 27% that Aaron Gordon is in that weak side corner, and live with that. Than the 70 to 80% that everyone else is getting to the basket and getting easy buckets or Jokic just going to work. So you have Rui defending and basically holding his own. AD has the help. If he kicks it out, Well, then now you have LeBron and whoever else is out on the perimeter. Now they need to make sure that they're staying close to the man and are able to close out and following the swing pass. Because most likely what's going to happen is Jokic is going to get the ball. Say he kicks it out, strong side corner, Michael Porter Jr. Boom, LeBron's right there. They're going to swing the ball, right? Because AD's still in the paint, so they're not going to kick it back to Jokic. So they're going to swing the ball out to, let's say, KCP. KCP is going to swing the ball to Jamal Murray. Jamal Murray's going to make a break for the paint, and so that's where whoever's defending Murray is going to now have to stay in front and keep pace, where Anthony Davis can come and clean it up, but put himself in position to where if there is the dump-off pass, Anthony Davis is just turning around to defend. So it's gonna come down to our guard defense. Those guys need to be able to, again, be serviceable. You're never going to stop these guys, but you need to be able to be serviceable. I think that's the best course of action, at least defensively. And then if things change, then you figure it out. There are going to be times where AD is going to be just solely on Jokic. But to me, if you can keep AD fresh for the offensive side and still kind of manage Jokic and kind of let Jokic do what he wants to do and basically keep everyone else contained, you'll beat Denver, right? So that's the thing. Like, great example is Sacramento, right? Sacramento beat Denver like 3-1. And yes, they have Sabonis, he's just a better bruiser type center, but that's kind of what we're using Rui for, right? Rui's like 6'8", Sabonis is like 6'10", right? He's got a couple inches on him, which is good. But the idea is the same, right? They kind of just leave Aaron Gordon in the weak side corner, and then everybody else just they just worry about everyone else. You have Anthony Davis, so basically Aaron Gordon can't just run and dunk it in the dunker spot, right? Anthony Davis also has to do a good job of like at least being weary of Gordon making that cut, right? Because if he comes to help Jokic, you don't want Jokic to just dump it down, and now Gordon's getting an easy dunk. So Anthony Davis would have a lot to kind of cover, but it's AD. It's the best player in the world. So to me, that would be the best approach. Basically what Sacramento has done, and the Lakers have had success in it. So again, a lot of people think, and even Mike Malone has kind of made the joke of like, oh, well, Jokic will figure it out, right? Because the Lakers had success with it. It's Jokic. Like, you're not going to stop him. It's actually the opposite. It's actually about letting Jokic be Jokic and slowing everyone else down. But you also don't want Jokic to drop 80, right? Like, where he's just all game just turning around and just dunking it over Rui. No, like you want to apply some pressure. You want the sense of help. But it's kind of like, hey, it will live with Jokic, dropping 40 or 30. Because if we keep everyone else modest, then throwing in a score like 108 points and we're going to win. Like, that's the idea on that side of things. But as far as the series itself goes, in general, right? Start getting into prediction time. So the first two games are, in my opinion, essentially do or die. If the Lakers go down 0-2, it's probably over, right? Now, I know a lot of people want an absolute, feel game one as an absolute must win. I don't agree. I think game one may be the most important game, but as long as you get one of the first two, you're in great shape. If the Lakers win game one, I believe the Lakers will win that series in 6, a bare minimum 6 or 7, right? I think the Lakers will actually handle Denver. They're not going to sweep them or anything like that, but I think the Lakers win that series. If the Lakers steal game one, I have all the confidence in the world that the Lakers will win that series. Like, zero doubt that the Lakers win that series. If they lose game one, they have to win game two. If they win game two, then I think it goes 7 games and the Lakers win in game 7. Give me game 7. I want to get to a game 7 because I believe in game 7, LeBron James and Anthony Davis can win one game. Give me a 1-game sample size. Historically, LeBron James owns those elimination games, right? Give me that elimination game. Now, I understand people may say, oh, well, LeBron's not the same LeBron. He's 39, you're 21. Yes, but this season, guess what? He is still Like, he just did 2 elimination games and just won both of them, right? So to me, get me to at least a game 7. Game 1, I believe, is the most important game, but it's not a absolute must win, if that makes sense, right? Because to me, the must win is the first 2 games. You have to win one of those 2 games, right? Also, LeBron historically, what has he always done? He even just talked about it on Mind the Basketball, right? Or Mind the Game, sorry. His podcast with JJ Redick. Just talked about it. Where game 1, he doesn't like to put pressure and he doesn't like to really go all out game 1, right? Because he looks at it as a 7-game series. A lot of guys are nervous. A lot of guys are, kind of trying to get in their playoff rhythm and playoff flow. Guys, you'll see it a lot of times. Guys are terrible in game 1, but then they get comfortable and they start balancing out. So LeBron is always taking game 1 as like, just go out and play. Just go out and play, win the game, and you're good, right? Because now all the pressure is switched. But if you don't, no worries. Game 1 is basically just the fill it out game, get in the rhythm game. You guys shot terrible. Don't worry, it's fine. Let's get this next one, right? LeBron's always used it as the feeling out game, as the game that is like, you know what? It's fine. Just go out there and hoop, right? And I know the Lakers won game 1 and game 1 in both the Grizzlies and the Warriors series last year, which is why those series were over quickly, right? Because as soon as LeBron like never loses if he wins game 1, right? So you knew, okay, the series is over, right? But to me, it's all about just getting the monkey off your back, right? You win that first game on the road, whether it's game 1 or game 2, everything changes. Game 1 is the most important because it shifts all the pressure to Denver, right? Because now Denver is in a must-win, do-or-die situation, right? Because if you win game 1 and Denver loses game 2, right? So you go Denver goes 0-2 at home, series is over. Lakers, even if they lose one game in LA, they'll be up 3-1. They'll win one out of those. LeBron he'll turn back the clock for one game and go win one game. All right? Series is over if they go down 0-2. But also, even if you lose, so if you win game 1, even if you lose game 2, you still have all the confidence and all the pressure because now, right, Denver has to win, without a doubt, one of those 2 games, right? And the same type of pressure regardless. But winning game 1 gives you the advantage in those other games where if you lose game 1, you win game 2, yes, you still have the advantage, but there's not as much pressure on Denver. There's more pressure on the Lakers to hey, we can't let them, we just stole home court. We need to regain and make sure we contain it. We need to make sure we keep it. Where Denver, if they lose game 1, now game 2, it's we can't, okay, we got that, okay, we're good. We need to steal one of these games in LA. It's just the mindset changes. Everything changes. Because you got to remember, playoffs is a lot about the mental, right? Game 1 is that game, right? You win game 1, it's all right. Series has started off right. But you lose game 1, you kind of have that, that's not how we wanted to start. That wasn't the intentions, right? Right? And that doubt and those questions start seeping in, that sense of urgency starts seeping in. Put pressure on Denver. It's that simple. And I don't mean ball pressure on the rim like I talked about. No, I mean, what does Denver look like with pressure? They didn't face it. They didn't have any pressure. They ran through everybody, right? They didn't have any pressure. No one challenged them. Denver was never behind to where they had to worry. Right? The closest was the Suns series, but Devin Booker shot 70% from the field, historically. That wasn't going to keep up. Right? So it was you knew Denver was going to win that series. You had no worries about Denver in that series. Right? And every time Denver beat the Suns. They won by like 30. That series wasn't even close in reality, right? So the last time Denver had real pressure was the 2020 matchup against the Lakers, because that was the last time somebody beat Denver with Jokic and Murray in the playoffs healthy, right? So to me, what does Denver look like when there is that urgency and their backs are against the wall? And like, do they have their struggles? Or there starting to be some mental errors? Is there, hey, wait a minute, maybe Denver is human, right? Hang on a second here, right? Like, what does that look like? Because they didn't have that last year. Game one, I want the Lakers to win game one for that reason. Now let's get into prediction of game one, right? I want to start by saying, if the Lakers lose game one, do not panic. It is fine. If Lakers lose game one and game two, that's a little panic, okay? Because the Lakers have all the pressure to win 2 straight home games. Can they? Yes. But it's a little, the panic meter starts, Lakers lose game one, don't even move the dial. Leave the panic meter right where it's at. It's a 0. They lose game two, turn that panic meter, 3/4 of the way. Game one and game two, right? Okay, that being said, I'm going to take the Lakers to win game one. I'm also going to take the Lakers to win the series. And I know people are going to jump. Of course you are. You're a Laker fan. It's a Laker channel. I'll get to why in a moment. Start with the game one first, okay? So, as I said, historically, LeBron loves filling out games. If this game is in striking range, I believe LeBron is going to go steal game one. I believe that this will be a fill-it-out game for LeBron still. I believe this will be that game. But I believe that LeBron knows if we steal game one, what that will do for the team. Forget Denver. Remove Denver from the equation. I believe that LeBron knows, because I know, that if they win game one, the confidence, the momentum, the belief, the fan base, the everything just goes like this. Huge pendulum swing to the Lakers side. Right now, you had it last year. It was, it was like this. And then Denver came in and it went boom. And it has just stayed there. Lakers win game one, that pendulum goes boom, all the way to the other side. And even if the Lakers lose game two, that pendulum will stay there. Because, again, you have this dark cloud. You have everybody, all the media, everybody telling you that the Lakers are not going to win this series. They just did predictions that the Lakers, and every single person, even, McMillan, right? Like, even Mike McMillan was like, Denver in 6 or whatever. Like, even Laker people are like, Denver's going to beat the Lakers in 6. Shout out to Nick Wright. Nick Wright's the only one with the belief, right? Like, there are literal Laker people that are like, Denver's going to win this in 6. Have some confidence. Have some pride. Let's get it. I'm not saying lock it in. Lakers are going to win the series. It's going to start with game one. I believe Lakers win game one because I am putting my trust in LeBron. If Denver's basically goes up 15 and it just kind of stays there the whole game, then LeBron will just kind of, all right, it's fine. All right, let's get through this game. But if it's close, let's say Lakers are down 5 going into the fourth. I think you see LeBron go, all right, let me lace these up. Let me tighten these up real quick. All right, let's go. Give me the ball. And I think you see LeBron have like a Clippers fourth quarter. Because I think LeBron's going to go, we need to steal game one. We're here, let's get it. Right? That's why I think the Lakers win game one. I think the Lakers show up, 1. I think that there is going to be this intensity by the Lakers. I believe, I have trust, faith, and belief in the Lakers. And so far it's been validated. I believe the Lakers are going to continue to validate my trust in game one and my belief in them. I believe the Lakers are going to show up. I think D'Lo's going to have a good game. I think the Lakers as a whole are going to have a good game. And I think that they're going to punch Denver in the mouth. Game one. I'm not saying that they're going to blow them out or anything like that. But I do think, I will say if there ever was a game that the Lakers blow them out, I think it's this one. I think Denver's going to come in, right? They're going to be, it's the Lakers. They're going to show up. But I think Denver, you hear all the chirping, all right, Mike Malone is already out here like, we swept them in the playoffs, swept them in the regular season. They want to flip the script, right? Our players know, our players are ready, blah, blah, blah. I think the Lakers, I think we're going to see the real Lakers this game. I do. And look, I could be wrong. Again, just a guess, just a prediction, right? But I think the Lakers show up. And I think that this is a game where you see the Lakers. I think it could potentially be, a bit of a back and forth. There could be, a game of runs. Maybe Denver goes up 12, Lakers go up 12, and it's just kind of back and forth. But I think the Lakers show urgency. I think the Lakers show as if this, remember the Pelicans game, not the play-in game. Remember the first Pelicans game where we were like, where's this Laker team been? I think that that's the Lakers that show up to game one. I do. All right. I do have my concern that it's the opposite just because the altitude and then they just had 4 days rest. But I do. I think the Lakers show up. They've been good with extended resting periods and getting right back into the swing of things. So I actually think they'll do that. So I'm going to take the Lakers to win game one. My prediction is Lakers win game one. If they win game one, I think they win the series. Like wholeheartedly without a doubt. I think the Lakers win the series. If Lakers win game one, I'm going to take the Lakers in 6. If the Lakers lose game one, but win game two, I'm going to take the Lakers in 7. So I think it depends on which game they win. I'm going to take the Lakers to win one of the first 2 games, right? They either win game 1 or game 2. They win game 1, Lakers win in 6. If they win game 2, Lakers win in 7. But regardless, I'm going to take the Lakers to win. In all honesty, I am not nervous. I actually am incredibly confident. Maybe delusionally confident. And I know some people, I always get the comments that are like, oh, you're delusional, you're this and that. Yeah, maybe I am. I think the Lakers are going to prove me right. I really do. I've said that, 5 times now? And all 5 times, the Lakers have proven me right. So I'm going to trust that they prove me right again. And I'm going to trust that the Lakers win this series. My prediction is Lakers win this series. They win it in 6 if they win game 1, 7 if they win game 2. If they win both, I think they win in 5. But to me, it's getting that monkey off their back. Get that first win. As soon as they get that first win, that's it. It's over. I believe you'll see. It's same thing as what we saw with the Clippers. Lakers, and the difference between the Clippers and the Nuggets, Clippers were beating us by 20 every time. Literally. Every time we played the Clippers, it was just lock it in. Lakers are losing by 15 plus. I mean, that was the easy, if you were a betting person, that was the easiest money you'll ever make in your life. Those games were never close. Lakers beat the Clippers once, and Clippers can't beat them ever since. Clippers have 21-point leads in the fourth quarter, and they can't beat us. I think the same thing happens to Denver. Denver right now is this puzzle, right, that the Lakers just have not been able to solve. And just like a puzzle, right, in a Rubik's Cube, right, once you figure out how to solve that a Rubik's Cube, each time gets a little easier and a little easier and a little easier. And boom. And then every time you go, here you go. Right? So to me, I believe the Lakers will win game 1 and it'll be solved. That doesn't mean that they're going to sweep them and win all 4 games. It's hard to beat anybody. And Denver's very good. Very good. Right? Again, everybody's taking Denver to beat the Lakers. Everybody, even Laker people are taking Denver to beat the Lakers. I'm going to be the one to stand on the hill. I'm going to be the one to say the Lakers are going to win this. Taking the Lakers. Lakers win game 1. LeBron James closes this game if it's close, and we win the series. So there you have it. Video many of you have been waiting for. Appreciate you all. As always, this is a discussion. I pass a question on you. Let me know your thoughts and opinions down in the comments below. What do you think? How do you feel? What are your thoughts? Do you agree to all my points? All my breakdowns, all my opinions? Do you not? Are you somewhere in between? However you feel, whatever your thoughts are, I'd love to hear it. So let me know down in the comments below. That being said, if you haven't liked this video, hit that like button. Helps me a lot. So when you enjoy these types of videos, I truly appreciate it. Not subscribe channel, hit that subscribe button. Turn on the bell notifications. Let's go Lakers. Steal game 1. Appreciate y'all. See you in the next one.